so many people, a lot of our customers have lost their bulldogs to health issues. They don't live as long. They come to us, they start Googling healthy bulldogs, you know, and they find the Old English Bulldog. And if they dig a little bit deeper and don't just, you know, purchase the first one they find, they'll find us and breeders, like-minded breeders that are passionate about productions more than maybe financial gain.
We could be spending time chasing us, close the wall until we see the sunrise. In my life, we align. Every night is use the time of my life.
Chris Moore, formerly I was Balky Built, she was Saints and Sinners. When we married, we merged and became iBULLDOGS. iBULLDOGS is located in Crewe, Virginia.
I found my first oldie on Craigslist. I used to adopt some dogs and I just wanted something of my own. And I wanted a bully breed, but not a pit bull because I didn't want people to be scared of them. So I found my first oldie for $700 and fell in love with the breed. And it's a dog that I would go running with and take out on hikes and stuff. And I just loved it. And I found, I guess, other breeders in the community online and started going to dog shows. And that was, I think I got my first oldie in 2009.
I've bred everything from pit bulls to American bulldogs. And for me, I stopped at oldies because it's a composite breed, and composite breeds are what intrigues me. So I like the science, the art of breeding dogs, and there's very few breeds that started 25 years ago that were open to the mixes. You know, I was allowed to, in oldies, you're allowed to use American, you're allowed to use English, you used to be allowed to use Bull Mastiff. So those were what intrigued me, because I didn't have to follow guidelines like everybody else. I mean, I have to follow guidelines, but I didn't have to. You know, it's like I could color a little outside the lines and be okay with it. So now, 20 years later, you got things like the Shorty Bull, the American Bullies, the exotics. They're all, to me, they're little composites. They're American Bulldog, they're composites. So I prefer that style or that realm of breeding dogs because, you know, like I said, Doberman to Doberman doesn't intrigue me. So, okay. Yeah. So for me, it's not about bloodlines. I appreciate what a Bull Mastiff can do for you. I appreciate what an American Bulldog can do for you. I appreciate what an English Bulldog can do for you. I can appreciate features. It's not about bloodlines for me, it's about features. You know, American Bulldogs, out of all the dogs that I just named, American Bulldogs, they have the most hip health. As far as the most bone, you're going to look in the Bull Mastiff and English Bulldogs. For your short backs, you're looking at English Bulldogs. As far as shoulder sets, you're looking at American Bulldogs. So I like features. It's almost like when somebody asks you, what's your favorite NFL team? Well, I don't really have a favorite NFL team. I like players. That's how I can explain it to somebody.
I really like a strong, scary looking dog. That's all I ever really wanted when I was younger, just something powerful. And as long as it looks like that but acts like this, you know, that's what I want. Something solid, something that's conformationally sound and, you know, great temperament, good with kids, good with strangers, but has muscle and bone and a cool head.
Stand behind your product. That's what I believe. Doing the right thing is, I think that's what makes you a good breeder.
I'll tell you what I think makes a good breeder. I think a breeder, and you know, in my opinion, should welcome you to their home and let you see how they raise and grow up their dogs and keep their puppies. Because you can do a lot of flashy stuff for the internet, and the dogs could be living in like cages, you know, and like dirty pens and stuff. So if you can't go to their house in person, at least have FaceTime and watch the way they communicate on Facebook or where on their social platforms. Because if they act a certain way on Facebook, that's how they're going to act with you, especially when things are not going great, you know. So look into your breeder beyond, you know, just taking their word for everything.
I'm not a big dog food advocate as far as name brands or anything like that. I've tried them all, and I've learned that Some of them have higher yeast, some of them have lower yeast, some of them have higher protein, some of them have higher fat. It all depends, in my opinion, what you do with your dogs. Your dog's diet has to be coordinated with its exercise level, its performance level. So like you were here, you seen that white dog just literally wander in our backyard. That dog probably walks anywhere from 7 to 10 miles a day. So for him, he needs to eat a high fat content because he needs to get his energy up. Now in the summertime, I don't have the dogs, I don't want them really fat and I don't want them really skinny, but I do lean them down because of the heat. And they do stay outside. So I want them leaner. So I cut down on the fat in the summertime. In the wintertime, I go a little bit heavier on the fat to keep them warmer. You know, I mean, they got dog houses, I stuff them with straw, but I do have them a little on the chub side just so they can be a little bit warmer. You know what I mean? In the summertime, I do lean them down with a little less fat. And that's about, I don't have a particular food like this. It's not that, it's just fat. Everything's about fat to me, fat content.
I will say this, a lot of times people will purchase puppies from us and go and put them on like maybe the most expensive food they can find, and it really wreaks havoc on the dog. And they do that all the time. I'm like, I keep them on this bag and maybe switch them to adult food at 4 or 5 months old. But they'll want to go with like Blue Buffalo or
Acadia, or the really, really high protein
what
ones.
What is it that everybody wanted in dogs, and then it started giving the dogs heart problems?
Oh, grain-free.
Yeah, the grain-free stuff. It doesn't work for our bulldogs. I don't know if it's every dog or just ours, but whatever we send them home on, it's mid-range. It's not like the cheapest. It's not the most expensive. Just continue with that.
I think a lot of times as pet homes or novel, beginner breeders, we want this dog to look badass at 6 weeks old, 8 weeks old, 3 months old. And what we're not understanding is that much protein is really hard on their liver and their bone growth. They can get what messes, there's a disorder where it messes up their growth plates, or they can get what's called rickets, and that's all coming from people trying to bulk a dog up too fast. Even if you feed raw, you're only supposed to feed like, I think it's 2 ounces per 5 pounds. But then you get somebody who's like, man, I gave him like 2 pounds of raw beef. I'm like, bro, that's an 80-20 at best if you're buying it, you know what I mean? So
Food.
it was funny.
What do you feed your dog?
Yeah, everybody always asks me, well, what do you feed Rolls Royce? What do you feed Rocky? Bro, it's not what I feed, it's how I breed. And that's what, you know that, your dogs are really thick as well. So it's not necessarily how much I feed them, it's how they're bred. And I like girth. So I prefer a girthy dog. And I will always breed towards girth. That is my, the thing is I try to tell everybody, if you look at a bodybuilder, it takes them a lifetime to achieve, the status of being Mr. Olympia. It took them a lifetime. There's no Mr. Olympia that's 18 years old. They're literally in their high 20s, low 30s before they're at that level. And if you look at one of those guys a year after not competing and not doing any supplementing, they look like me and you. So it took them a lifetime to achieve that girth. It took them this much time to lose it all. So think about that when you're breeding dogs. You know what I mean? It's hard to maintain girth. So when people ask me, oh, what do you feed? It ain't necessary. I could feed that dog pedigree. I could feed it O'Roy. I could feed it Blue Buffalo. It would still be as thick as it is, It would just change the ears and maybe the ear infections and stuff like that just because of all that yeast. That's about it. All right, you want ready, go. Boom. Don't do none of that.
I
literally passed the phone.
I think the correct thing to say is, oh, you have to apply, you have to fill out this form, and I'll have to like call all these references, and I'm not like that. If you get to talking to me on the phone and I feel like you're a good person or a good dog person, and I feel comfortable selling you a dog, and usually being at the price point that we're at, we have probably better homes. It's not a complicated process. I'm not going to call your landlord. I'm not going to do anything like that. And if you can't keep the dog, obviously, I'm getting it back. But, you call us, you send a deposit to reserve your puppy or purchase outright, and and we'll figure out transportation. It's not complicated to buy a dog from us, and we don't scrutinize anybody. You know, it's just like a feel for the people. If I have your social media, I might look through it and make sure you don't have any skinny dogs in the background, you know, stuff like that, or dirty dogs.
I know we got 5 stars.
Yeah, we have 5-star rating on Google, all from our pet home, so that's pretty awesome. But if you know, just call me, text me. If you're serious, call me. Make sure to get me on the phone, because like I said, if you're getting those messages and notifications all day, I kind of just turn them off just to be able to get what I need done. Yeah, we show some dogs in the American Bully Kennel Club, and we have a dog right now named Bodacious, and he's a grand champion. He grand champed in 3 dog shows, which is pretty awesome, with a lot of competition. And then we took him to nationals, and he won best grand champion there. And we foresaw him winning the entire breed, but he didn't. He lost to one of Chris's dogs.
He lost to his
uncle.
No, his first cousin. First cousins.
Oh.
So I took, yes, we do show. I am a judge at the ABKC as well.
I'm apprenticing.
And so I took Rocky, the black and white dog I showed you this morning, just to, once a year I take a dog out to show how far I've personally pushed the envelope for my breed. And it's not necessarily, I don't take the dog to win. I take the dog because I want to show my progress. And, you know, sometimes being judged by one person is okay, but being judged by your peers and showing them your progress, it's a better landmark, I guess you could say. Like, oh shit, or you don't get any.
And it's nice for them to see in person. So if we know a lot of people are going to a dog show, we might bring dogs out. We're gonna probably bring out Rolls Royce soon, just so people can see, you know, maybe where we're different and how we can kind of get it together. But
or where we can help each other. Stop, Harold.
Yeah. So
so like you said, like, you know, I took Rocky and I didn't intend to win. And it has nothing, I wasn't there to win. And anybody who talked to me, I even think I spoke to you prior to tell you, I said, I'm not taking him to win. I'm taking him to show off. You know what I mean? That was all I was trying to do, just to show off, because I'm proud of him. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of my progress compared to Ocean. That's an Ocean grandson. So, you know what I mean? Just to show my progression, you know, because when we breed dogs, it's about progression. It's not about, you know, just a pedigree. It's about, can you make the pedigree better? You know what I mean? So, you know, when you look at Ocean and you look at Rocky, I made it better, in my opinion. I got tighter muscle, better head, better rear.
Taller dog.
So, you know, just overall a better animal. And so when I took him, it was not to say, oh, he better win, or he's the ideal Olde. It was, I'm proud. And he actually, you know, he won Best of Breed at ABKC Nationals. His only show he's ever done, and he won Best of Breed.
His only show, and he was in the Best in Show lineup, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Old English Bulldogs. For new breeders, I would just say, if possible,
put your hands on the dog.
Yeah, go to the breeder's house. I really can't understand. It really kind of bothers me that we were in Texas so long, and like the breeders that pretended to be into it didn't come to see our dogs. Because if anything, you might not like us or you might not like our dogs, but if we've been in the same breed for 20 years, then why would you not come and see an established kennel?
So we couldn't, I mean, we got VHSs in the house of dogs. That's how we used to send, you know, I want to see a video of your dog. They would send you, you would send them $25 and they'd send you a VHS in the mail.
We got like 20 tapes.
I got them in the house. So, like, that's how we used to communicate with each other. This is prior to Facebook. This is prior to, what was the one before Facebook?
MySpace?
MySpace, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't have what you guys have today. So what I would say is, I would tell you, I think the older breeders, they had it better because it forced you to see the dog. It forced you to put your hands on the dog. It forced you to go to a show. If I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I would really get out. I would touch the dogs. And the people that I followed, the reason I followed them is because their resume. So here's what I'll tell you. And this is where I'll tell you who they are, but I look at people and I look at their productions. For an example, I'll show you. I showed you Ocean this morning. I showed you Mac. That's Ocean's son. And then I showed you Rocky. That's Ocean's grandson. So that's 3 generations of amazing animals. Like, I didn't getting worse, I got better. You know, and that's what I mean, the resume. So I want to see people who can make better dogs. I don't want the best dog that you own is the dog you bought, or the best dog that you've owned is the one dog that you have that's amazing. Can you make better? Can you improve? So for that, I would tell you, people like Beatrice over in Brazil from Sunshine Bulls. She's an amazing person at what she does. There's a very, very small group of people that I can honestly tell you when they breed dogs, you're going to get a really nice dog. And that'd be Jamie Sweet. It would be Chad Dunn. He makes a really nice dog. It's sound. Not necessarily as extreme as I prefer, but I know you're going to get a very sound animal. You know what you're going to get. And that's, to me, Beatrice, Joey Rita, Cordeeds, but these are the people who aren't on the internet anymore, you know what I mean? There's other people, I'm not going to take anything away, is Bull Force. I give him credit where credit's due. The can make dogs, man. And that's just it. There's people who can make puppies, and there's people who can make dogs that can start kennels. And I want to be surrounded with people who can make a dog that can literally be the foundation of somebody's kennel. That's what I want to be around, because steel sharpens steel. You know what I mean? If you can't make a better dog, then I don't have any. It's not to be rude. I mean, you can teach me things, obviously, because there's always value in everything. But to make me better, I need people better than me, and those people are better than me. I mean, NFL players, they look at the college kids, and then the college kids help the high school kids. You know what I mean? That's how it works. And so I have people that I have questions, and I ask them. If I have a reproduction question, I ask this person. If I have a structural question, I ask him. You know what I mean? If it comes down to production, have you ever seen this happen before? Have you ever seen traits go on for 3 and 4 generations? Like the Chocolate Tri-American Bulldogs. He's the only one in the world.
The only stud.
The only stud in the whole world. But when you look at his pedigree, there is absolutely no try. So I dug into it, like, where could the try came from? And I've talked to, scientists like, hey, and he's like, well, it could happen. I'm like, all right, whatever you say, buddy. You know what I mean? But I pay attention to people's productions. It's not just their hype. I want to see how good they get or how bad they get.
All the breeders that he named are all the heavy hitters, I guess. But there's different aspects. So yes, you can make an amazing dog, and then there's breeders that can sell the shit out of a dog. And so maybe I pay attention a little bit more, and they're not oldie breeders at all. Just the videography, customer relations, and rearing puppies. So the way that's so in depth in creating and building a dog physically, there's a whole nother art to raising and selling dogs. So I guess that's kind of like the lane that I was shoved into, because he was already like, what he's doing, that's what he's doing. So it's finding that fine line and creating something that's exciting and people want, and also having a sound product.
For me, as far as breeding, I want to, when you make a stud or a dog that you really, really like, then you have to make 3 of them or 4 of them. Make sure he just wasn't a fluke. You know what I mean? So my goal for 2024 is to make 2 or 3 Rockies, and then I want a girl or 2 like him as well. So that's what I'm after. I want to be able to make 2 or 3 of him, and then once I make 2 or 3 of him, I want to lock it in. So I have other styles of dogs here. We have Rolls Royce, who's like a 110-pound, big-ass English Bulldog. Cool dog, and everybody loves him. You know what I mean? And but I like the tighter skin. I like the more muscled up dogs, preferably. That's what I prefer. I've learned in the past that having dogs like Rolls Royce and Ocean and Rocky, they're amazing animals, but if you don't have the girls to breed to him, they're a wasted value. I mean, they're beautiful animals, but I don't have dogs here that I can physically breed to them, so they're going to waste. Not necessarily like wasted, but I don't have any use for them personally because I don't have girls that I can breed him to. So my goal is to utilize the dogs better this year that I do have, and not yet, Bears, not yet. So that's pretty much it for 2024.
My goals are gonna sound silly. I really want to complete my website. We have at least 30 dogs here, grown ones, and I have 3 dogs, like their pages are complete. So I would like to get 1 done a day. get the Sony A7 and figure out how to make really nice videos.
I'll tell you this. So when Rocky won nationals, I had exotic people reach out to me, American Bully people reach out to me, American Bulldog people reach out to me, Cane Corso people reach out to me. And they all said the same thing. Like, I ain't never seen an Olde on my timeline before now. So we were getting momentum. And we were gaining traction. I'm hoping more consistent. That would be my thing. More consistency.
People say you're the problem with consistency.
I'm pushing the envelope still.
But the thing is, the stud books aren't ready to be closed yet, and everybody who just purchased a dog last year or 2 years ago and bred them together wants to have a say. And the truth is, we're not there yet, you know, because everything that you can't stud to one of our dogs with a lesser build dog and expect to create some substance. So we're like trying to pack it in there, and it takes time. So no, consistency is not our goal right now, you know. Substance, mass, and nice rears are, and heads. So in time, we can be more consistent, and hopefully the overall breed will be more consistent. You know, I feel like we have put the Olde on the map in a lot of ways. So as long as we can keep creating content and have you guys and people like you come out and talk to us, I think we'll just get better and better. And so many people, a lot of our customers have lost their bulldogs to health issues. They don't live as long. They come to us, they start Googling healthy bulldogs, you know, and they find the Old English Bulldog. And if they dig a little bit deeper and don't just, you know, purchase the first one they find, they'll find us and breeders, like-minded breeders that are passionate about productions more than maybe financial gain. Yeah, and I feel like Old English Bulldogs have gained a lot of traction. Every year, more people are learning what they are. There was one point where everybody would think that an Old English Bulldog, like on the street, was a boxer mix or a pit bull mix, and now people are literally saying that's an Old English Bulldog. So they're recognizable. I feel like every family would love them. They're great with kids, great with families. You can have them at a party. You don't have to lock up the dog because it's social. So yeah, I think they're gaining traction. I think we have brought a lot of attention to the breed also, and they'll just be more and more popular.
Right. I think three things for me. One, I might be quiet. I don't really argue with people, and I don't really say much on social media, but I do see, and I do see when I go to shows, when I go to look at other dogs. I will continue to push forward. I will never be happy. I will never be content. And with that, you know, breeding dogs is the best way I can explain it to no one who doesn't understand breeding dogs. It is the pursuit of perfection. That's what dog breeding is. And in all the years I've done this, I have never seen a perfect animal. So I know that my pursuit will never be over. So with that being said, the constant push that I constantly do to make a better dog, a more muscle dog, a bigger head, better hips, better breathing, more consistency, that will never stop. So I won't say that I'm ever better than anybody, because I'm not in a competition with anybody. I'm only in competition with myself. And the competition is that I'm continuously pushing forward. So I think that's what separates us. It's not...
So basically everything he just said, nobody else thinks like that. They just think, oh, this dog and this dog, or I bought these two dogs, I'm going to breed them together, and then, you know, they're just thinking about what's going on in their own yard and not the possibility, like the endless possibilities out there. And a lot of people think that maybe you probably just breed like, you know, crazy stuff together, you know, this little dog to this big dog, but some of your mentors have even called you conservative in the way you breed.
Yeah.
So, and these are conversations that 95% of other breeders and any breed
will never have.
They don't understand. They
won't have them.
So it's really, really hard. Like you hear
nothing.
What?
So for
what
me,
else is there to do?
So for me, it's my family. You know, I mean, I love my kids. She'll tell you. We have total together, we have 5 children,
And 3 grandchildren.
3 grandchildren. Like, all jokes aside, I love my kids, man. I love all of our kids. Our son just turned 24 yesterday. I was the first person. I called him at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I called him at midnight.
I called him, tell him happy birthday, and I thought he sent me the voicemail. I'll show you. I said, oh, you sent me the voicemail? So, you know what I mean? I love learning. It's not necessarily actual dog itself, but I love learning, you know, how to correct chest spread, how to correct rear angles, if a dog has runny nose, is it yellow, is it white, is it clear? Like, I like that kind of stuff, and those things are my hobby outside of actually breeding dogs. So, do I like going to Renaissance festivals? Nah, that ain't my thing, you know what I mean?
Go.
But everything revolves around dogs in my family.
You know what I'll say though, what I really love, even more than my dogs, is the owners and the families of the dogs and their story and why they want a new dog and their kids with that dog. And for instance, if a dog went home and they love it, it runs away or it gets hit by a car, I think most breeders would be mad at that person, and I just feel sad for them, you know. So we would even replace that dog, you know. So I really just care about that stuff too.
What up, what up? Chris Moore. This is Gina, my
Gina.
wife. We are together, iBULLDOGS. Individually, I was bulky built and she was Saints and Sinners, but now we're iBULLDOGS. On the internet, you can find us at
chrisandgina.com.
And she has social media.
First of all, you can call me on my cell phone. It's 469-585-0903. Call me, text me anytime, FaceTime. We have the website, chrisandgina.com. TikTok, I'm Empress Bulldogger. He's bulky built. Instagram, YouTube.
TikTok, we got them all. I think she's got a link tree, so you can find us at the link tree, and it goes all your things, all your social media platforms. Again, you can reach her via text or phone call at 469-585-0903. Everybody tells their phone number like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's your number, you say it fast. But yeah, you can reach us. We are very approachable, especially her. We have quite a few studs here. We have puppies for sale occasionally. We can do progesterones if need be. Sonograms if need be.
I like to do board and breeds. So if someone doesn't know how to do AIs and progesterones, you can drop your girl off here and we will either breed to our stud, or you can bring your stud or have semen shipped to us. We raise and show Old English Bulldogs. He's a judge and I'm becoming one. I guess that's another goal for 2024 to finish that.
It could be spending time chasing nights. Close the one until we see the sunrise.